I want to share with you 5 huge changes coming to Cincinnati, Ohio in 2026 you do not want to miss out. Quick question. When was the last time you saw $3.6 billion with a capital B land in your backyard? Because that is exactly what's happening in Cincinnati right now, and most people have no idea how it's about to reshape home values, commute times, and entire neighborhoods like practically overnight. So if you're planning to move or move your family here in 2026, the city you're researching online today will look nothing like the one you actually show up to. We are in the middle of 5 massive shifts. Now I'm talking billions of dollars in construction, a brand new bridge, luxury mixed-use district, and a housing market that's finally giving buyers some breathing room. And here's the thing, if you're a first-time buyer or someone relocating from out of state, the wait-and-see approach could easily be the most expensive mistake you make this year. So let me walk you through all 5 changes, and I'll tell you exactly what each one means for your wallet and your family. Number 1, the Brent Spence Bridge Corridor. This is a game changer. All right, so let's start with the one everyone's been talking about for decades, but that is finally, and I mean finally, becoming a physical reality. According to the Ohio Department of Transportation, in early 2026 marks the official start of construction for the $3.6 billion Brent Spence Bridge Corridor project. Now, I know bridge construction doesn't exactly get the blood pumping, but hear me out. Because this is not just a road project. This is a total reimagining of how Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky connect. Here's what's actually happening. They're building a brand new double-decker companion bridge that will finally separate local traffic from those massive interstate freight flow. Interstate 71 and 75 converge just before this bridge, and 75 is one of the most heavily trafficked interstates in the country. And if you've ever been stuck between a line of semi-trucks trying to get across the river for work, you know exactly why this matters. And that local bridge will actually be for locals again. But here's the real kicker for real estate. This project is designed to eventually return about 30 acres of land back to the city for redevelopment, with roughly 10 of those acres sitting right in the urban core. Think about that. When you reclaim that kind of land in a city center, you don't just maintain the status quo. Property values in the surrounding areas like West End or Queensgate, those property values aren't going to stay steady, they're going to react. And historically, when you see this kind of opportunity for urban core investment, they react upward. So if you're looking at neighborhoods near that corridor, pay very close attention to what happens over the next 12 to 18 months. Number 2, the downtown entertainment district is getting a vibe upgrade. Okay, so while the bridge crew is moving earth, something equally exciting is happening just a few blocks north. According to Visit Cincy, 2026 is the year that downtown convention district fully transforms. We already saw the ribbon cutting for the modernized First Financial Center in January, and this spring, a new 700-room Marriott headquarters hotel is set to break ground. Now, why should you care about a convention hotel if you're buying a house? That's a great question. Because these developments anchor the Fountain District and the banks. And when I say anchor, I mean they're backed by hundreds of millions of dollars in capital. So the restaurants you love, the nightlife, those walkable Sunday mornings along the river, they're not just nice to haves anymore. They're being locked in by serious institutional investment. I like to call it vibe insurance for your home purchase. So you're not just betting on a neighborhood feeling cool right now. You're investing in an area where the money is already committed to keeping it that way for years to come. All right, so we've covered 2 massive changes, the bridge that's reshaping the west side and traffic, and the downtown facelift that's locking in long-term value. And honestly, those 2 alone are already putting pressure on entry-level price points. But we haven't even touched on the FC Cincinnati effect or what's actually happening with mortgage rates when you sit down with a lender. So before we keep going, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed by all this, and that's totally normal by the way, I've put together a free Cincinnati relocation guide. It breaks down the neighborhoods, top schools, in-demand industries, and a bunch of other local insights to help you make a smart move. I'll drop the link in the description and the pinned comment. Grab that and let's keep going. Number 3, the FC Cincinnati Mixed-Use District. This is a West End transformation. Okay, so this is a big deal, and I think a lot of people outside of Cincinnati are sleeping on it. So for a long time, the West End was kind of known as the affordable neighbor to over the Rhine. You could get in at a lower price point and it had that kind of rough around the edges charm. But in 2026, that gap is closing fast. According to the Barron Group's 2026 Development Outlook, major construction is hitting high gear on the $332 million FC Cincinnati mixed-use district. We're talking 2 13-story towers, a boutique hotel, a massive public plaza, all right there around the stadium. And here's what really changes the equation. This project turns the West End from a match day destination into a 24/7 neighborhood. It's not just go watch a game and leave anymore. It's restaurants, retail, residential, a year-round live, work, play district. So if you've ever been eyeing that area for a ground floor investment opportunity, I'll be honest with you, the window is closing as the cranes go up. Once those towers are finished, you're buying at a very different price. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Peter Chabris with the Chabris Group right here in Cincinnati. Our goal with this channel is simple, to give you unvarnished, data-backed truth about what it's actually like to live, work, and buy a home in this city. No fluff. I'm not doing the look at this kitchen video. I'm giving you real information that you can actually use. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. Okay, let's keep rolling. Number 4, Payor Stadium, that long-term anchor. So even our sports icons are getting a serious makeover. According to the Cincinnati Bengals in Hamilton County, 2026 marks a major phase of the $470 million renovation at Payor Stadium. Now, a better jungle for our Bengals is obviously great for the fans, but the real story for homeowners is that long-term lease agreement that keeps the Bengals here in Cincinnati through at least 2036. That's a full decade of guaranteed economic impact. A decade of events, foot traffic, and spending in the banks and along the Northern Kentucky riverfront corridor. That kind of anchor doesn't just support property values, it protects them. So if you own or are buying in the downtown core on the Northern Kentucky side of the river, this lease is quietly one of the most important pieces of your long-term investment thesis. It's not flashy, but it's the kind of stability that smart buyers are looking for. And number 5, the 2026 market reality. What's actually happening with prices? All right. So let's talk about your money, because I know that's why a lot of you are really here. There's a lot of noise out there about crashes and corrections and bubbles and popping. But let's cut through all of that and look at the actual numbers. The median sold price, according to the Realtor Alliance of Greater Cincinnati, as we entered 2026 with a median sold price of $300,000. That's about a 10% jump from this time last year. So yes, prices are up and they're up meaningfully. But here's the silver lining for buyers. According to Realtor.com's 2026 housing forecast, active inventory is projected to rise by nearly 9% this year, and we're already seeing local listings start to climb. That means we're moving towards what we call a balanced market. You finally have a little more room to breathe and a little more room to negotiate. In fact, we've had multiple buyers work with us this year negotiating significant discounts off of asking price, sometimes as much as 5%, in one case even 10% off of asking price. And that's including seller concessions, sometimes $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in seller paid closing costs. Let's keep going. Mortgage rates. According to Freddie Mac and Realtor.com projections, rates are expected to average around 6.3% in 2026. No, it's not the 3% of the pandemic era. Those days unfortunately have gone. But 6.3% is a stable and predictable mortgage environment. You can actually plan your budget in your future without that crazy bidding war trauma of 2021 and 2022. So here's how I'd summarize it. You're paying more to get in, but once you're in a city that's objectively worth more than it was last year. And the conditions for actually buying are the best they've been in a while. So let's bring it all together. The Brent Spence Bridge is finally happening after decades of talk. The West End is transforming from an affordable alternative to a mixed-use destination. And downtown is being rebuilt for the next generation of visitors, residents, and businesses. The Bengals locked in for another decade, and the housing market is finally giving buyers a seat at the table. Yes, at a higher entry price, but with real room to negotiate. Cincinnati in 2026 is a city that is finally matching its ambition with its infrastructure. And that's the kind of city where smart money moves early. So if you're looking at all these changes and thinking, okay, but where does my family actually fit into this? Let's have a conversation. We do this every single day, and we'd love to help you figure out the right move. You can reach out to us directly through that link below. And don't forget to grab that free location guide if you haven't already. It's the best first step that you can take. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe, drop a comment, and I'll see you on the next one.